Shalom, everyone. Shalom. Brother Ned coming to you again with a pretty interesting topic. Probably one that we've heard quite a bit, but this is for those who are fairly new to what's going on. And also just to give us some more edification on what's really going on. Okay. So let's grab our pens and papers and we're going to dive into this lesson, which is called the church. What? So we're going to begin over here. We're going to get a little bit of foundational precepts, and then we're going to go right into the lesson. All right. So let's start over here at Isaiah 28, 9 and 10. We'll get a little understanding. It says, whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So this is giving us this foundation on how things are going to be brought forth according to the way that is prescribed by JEHOVAH. Okay. Psalms 119 and 4 says, thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. So this is the way that it has to be run according to the word that was sent to us, and we must follow those instructions. And then 104 says, through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore, for that reason, I hate every false way. So this is how we would get our understanding, is through these precepts that is commanded of us to keep. And then lastly, Isaiah 34 verse 16, it says, seek ye out of the book of the Spirit of God and read. No one of these books that's in the King James Bible, Sovereign King James Bible, or King James Bible 1611, not any other version. This one book says no one of these shall fail. It says no one shall want her mate. So nothing's going to be going with this book. Everything that we need is right already here. It's its own commentary, dictionary, foundation. Everything is all within the book. And it says, for my mouth it had commanded, because he already told us he commanded it over in 119 and 4 in Psalms. It says, and his spirit hath it gathered them. So Spirit of God is the one that put all of this together and commanded us to keep these things, because this is the way that we should follow, how we are to get our understanding. Okay. So the topic of our lesson today is the church. Right? So what is it? What is the church? Here are a couple of questions that we want to get answered. 1, is the church carnal? 2, is the church spiritual? 3, what is the church made of, or what makes up a church? And number 4, are we supposed to, quote, go to church, end quote? These are a couple of questions that we need to know. So church, what is it? How does it function? Church functions in a many ways here in the script. Church equals a congregation, a gathering assembly, a synagogue, which is a gathering place, a temple, A bride. That was very interesting. A bride. A spouse. Along the same lines there. A holy, which is separated place. A house of God. So that's how this church is rolling. Also, we're going to look at the word temple. So temple is a place of worship. It's the house of God. It's a house. A holy place. A dwelling place. A tabernacle. A habitation. A vessel. A ship. Again, a synagogue, a sanctuary, church. Okay? And sometimes referenced as a building. So we're going to look at how this church is rolling. So what is the church according to the script? Let's go over here to Ephesians. I'm going to start over there. Ephesians chapter 5. We're going to pick up in verse 23. I'm going to read down to 27. It says, for the husband is the head of the wife. All right, one of our key words right there. The husband is the head of the wife. Even as comparing Christ is the head of the church. Okay. And he is the Savior of the body. Verse 24. Therefore, as comparing the church is subject unto Christ. Why? Because Christ is the head. Just like the husband is the head of the wife, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives. Even comparing, Christ also loved the church. We just seen that the church, I share with you that the church is a bride or a spouse. To who? Christ. And gave himself for it. Verse 26. That he may sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Verse 27. That he might present it to himself a glorious bride. Spouse. His house that he's going to be dwelling in. His separated place. Having not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but it should be holy and without blemish. So right here we can see that the church is the wife or spouse of Christ, which is Jehovah. So the church is married to Jehovah. With that being said, we can further pinpoint what the church is because we can go see who is married to Christ. It kind of foreshadows it here, right here, but let's go take a look at it. Let's go to Jeremiah. On Jeremiah chapter 3, we're going to pick up at verse 14. It says, turn, O backsliding children, saith the Spirit of God, Christ. For I am married unto you, and I will take you, one of a city, two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Verse 15, and I will give you pastors, feeders, according to mine heart, which will feed you with knowledge and understanding. In verse 14, this gets us a little closer to finding out who is married to Christ. Because it said right here, it says, turn, O backsliding children. He's married to us, to these children that he's referring to. And then in verse 15, it is giving us a little more detail on how he will sanctify and cleanse the church. Because he said, I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Because right over here it said he's going to cleanse us with the washing of water by the word. Let's go to Exodus. We go to Exodus chapter 19. We're gonna see when this marriage took place. Exodus 19. We're gonna start at verse 3 and we're gonna read down to 9. We're gonna see this marriage. So, and Moses went up to God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, to these people, and to the children of Israel, even more specific. Ye have seen that what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bear you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. That's going to be key later. He brought us unto himself. Now, for that reason, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant. So he didn't perform this vow right here. It said, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak to the children of Israel. So he didn't put this vow in and say, hey, you do this, I got you. So verse 7 says, and Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before all their faces these words which the Lord, the Spirit of God, commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Spirit of God has spoken, we will do. Right here, we just exchanged them vows right there. He said, we do. It's like men and women, when they get married, they exchange them vows, and they say, we do. They're going to keep them. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. Okay? Now, we just seen where these exchanges of vows were performed. Now let's get into where the marriage is consummated. Okay? Let's pick it up. We're going to pick this up over at Jeremiah. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull it right here. Jeremiah, since we already there. Go to 31. Verse 33. It says, but, however, this shall be the covenant that I will make with thee, with the house of Israel after those days. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Let's pick up a little more over here in Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 25. It says, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. Verse 27. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments, my doctrines and teachings, and do them. He said he's going to put a ring on it. Then he's going to put his spirit in you. Key. Let's go over here to Deuteronomy, because we're seeing how this marriage is consummated. Remember how we consummate the marriage. We can go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Going to pick it up at verse 10. Going to read down to verse 13. It says, when thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Spirit of God thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, into thy power, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives, because remember he took us out of bondage, out of Egypt, a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to be thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. Remember, he said he's going to clean us up. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off of her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and mother a full month. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her, and be with her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. One second. All right, we back. Sorry about that. So, I use these verses here to show that once the covenant is made, then the groom goes into the bride. The marriage is consummated. And then at that point, they are married. This is the same as when men and women get married. We make vows. We make a feast for witnesses to see what is taking place. Then we go and consummate the marriage. Once the marriage is consummated, the wife is impregnated and becomes a fruit bearer if the seed is rooted. And if the seed is nurtured with good nutrients, a child or children is produced. No different. We got a physical example of how we are married to this spirit. Christ, Jehovah. He's supposed to dwell in us. He put that word in our heart. Remember? He cleaned us up. He said, I'm going to sprinkle this water on you. Shall be clean from all your filthiness and from all your idols. He said, then a new heart will I also give you. I'm going to put a ring on it. So I'm going to put my spirit in you. Put my word in you. Now we need to be producing this fruit. We're going to go over here to Sirach. He's telling us this what he was going to do. So to some Ecclesiastes, we're going to go to chapter 24. I'm going to pick it up at verse 8. It says, so the creator of all things gave me a commandment. This me gave the Spirit of God a commandment. and that he made me to cause my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance be in Israel. He married us. Then he said he gonna let thy dwelling be in Jacob. Watch this. Let's go for the 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 3:16 says, know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? So, looking at this, we can see who was married to Christ, what he's dwelling in. We ain't see him say anything about dwelling in no buildings. He said he married to his bride, his spouse, which is Israel. He dwelling in us. Now let's look at the flip side right quick before we dig all the way into that. It says, let's not forget that all are not married unto Christ. There are those that are fornicating with Satan or committing adultery with Satan. So some of these that are married, they over here committing adultery with Satan. They over here looking on the other side of the fence. They think the grass is greener. But see right here, Satan is into polygyny and polyandry. We're going to look at how Satan is rolling. You know, Satan, he will say whatever to you to get you. He don't care if you're married. All he wants is to have you. However, Satan will not be a husband to you. Satan is really only baby daddy or sugar daddy material. Let's look at this. Let's go over to Luke. Luke chapter 22. We're going to pick it up at verse 31. And the Lord said unto Simon, Simon, remember, Satan had desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Let's pick up some more. 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as comparing a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Because he got that desire to have you. He want to sift you like wheat. Let's see how he want to do it. We're going to go to Revelation chapter 12. We're going to pick it up at verse 15. It says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water, knowledge. Oh, he trying to spit that game to you. As a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. I know y'all see this. Let's pick up some more right quick, cause some of us we done been taken by them them swift and those delicacies, there was them, them sweet nothings that Satan be, putting out to try to get you. Yeah, watch this. We're going to pick it up 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1 through 3. It says, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the later times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies in hypocrisy. They looking good to you, looking one way, but they speaking these lies. They seducing with these doctrines. They spin some hardcore game to you. Watch this. Having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry. They don't want you to be married to the Most High, to Christ. And commanding to abstain from meats, from them commandments, them judgments that the Spirit of God gave us. See right here, it said, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. Let's see else what he do. Let's look at it. Let's look at Luke. We're gonna look right over here, Luke. Chapter 4. We're gonna go 5 through 7. It says, and the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. Say, oh, let me, hey, come look at this. Look what I got. So he's spitting game, then he rolling up on you. Hey, look at that, look. Let me make it rain on you. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give to thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and whosoever I will give it. Verse 7. If thou therefore will worship, respect me, and all shall be thine. He said he was like a roaring lion, trying to sift you like wheat. We see how he rolling. Let's look at a little bit more. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 3. Because Genesis chapter 3. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Spirit of God had made. And he said unto the woman, here goes some more. Say, yet hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. So we can eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, somebody forgot something. God has said, ye shall not eat it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. She forgot the words of her husband. Look at this. I'm going right here. Right here it says, Genesis 2:16, it says, and the Lord commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. Here's the key. Verse 17, it says, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. She said, don't eat of the tree that's in the midst. He said, don't eat of the tree that's teaching the knowledge of good and evil. lest ye die. Verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. There it go. He trying to put that hook in you. He's subtle, more subtle than any beast of the field. For God doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes, your understanding shall be opened, and ye shall be as comparing gods, knowing good and evil. He spent some hardcore game to her. She bought it. Watch this. And when the woman saw, so she seen all of this right here. Took her all up to that high mountain. I'm going to give you the glory of all of this. He was forbidden her to marry. Telling her to abstain from that doctrine that God created, which would be received. And then she took, look, it says, for the tree was good for food. She completely rejected all that her husband said she's supposed to be doing. And look at this. And it was pleasant to the eyes. It looked good to her. And the tree, the elder, to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit, them works thereof, and did eat. And gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. So now that Satan got you, he can put them works in you. What else he gonna do? Remember I said he in the polygyny and polyandry? Watch this. Now that he didn't got you, he said, I got me one. Revelations chapter 2. I'll pick it up at verse 9. It says, I know thy works, and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Right here. It says, and I know the blasphemy, the lies of them which say they are Jews, that they are followers of Christ, but are not. Because you see, she was trying to hold on. She couldn't hold on to what the Most High was saying over here in Genesis. She held on to them lies. So watch this. But are the synagogue of Satan. They the gathering places of Satan. This is key. Okay, let me show you Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1. It says, and in that day 7 women spirits shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread. We got our own doctrine, our own knowledge, and we will wear our own apparel. We got our own covering. They not following Christ. They got their own covering, their own head. They just said, only let us be called by thy way. They want to do their own thing, but the only thing they want is just to be called by the way, so they could be in hypocrisy, to take away our approach. So how is this dealing with this polygyny and polyandry? Remember, it says 7 spirits gonna try to take hold of this one man, this male or female. Remember? Let's get a little more into it. We're finna get there. Let's look at Luke chapter 11, verse 24 through 26. It says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, a male or female, he walketh through the dry places, seeking rest, finding none. He said, I will return unto my house once I came out. So Satan already got you. He said, hey, you know what? I've been going to and fro. Let me roll back over here to one of them I already got. And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. And they enter in and dwell there. And at the last state of the man, the male or female, is worse than the first. Now all these spirits that's rolling with Satan, now rolling all in you. We was only supposed to have one spirit, which is Christ. Not all these many spirits rolling in us. We're supposed to have one spirit. One. We're supposed to be married to one spirit. We over here fornicating and committing adultery, all these other spirits. Now, after when all these spirits rolling up in you, now you became bitter and grown in your tribulation. Let's see this. 2 Thessalonians. We'll pick it up in chapter 2. Verse 3 and 4. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. When we fell away. And that the man, the male or female of sin be revealed. The son, the servant of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God. Remember, Satan said you're going to be as God. So you're exalting yourself above all that is God or that is worshipped, respected, so that you trying to rule yourself, and you got Satan up in you, as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now Satan rolling all up in you. That's your head. Ezekiel. That ain't how we supposed to be. Ezekiel chapter 28. I'm going to pick it up at verse 15. It says, thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity, acts of sin, was found in thee. Satan rolling in you. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, for that reason, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom. By reason of thy brightness, I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee, remember thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries, my dwelling place. Because all these other spirits, you let the spirit of God go. Now you letting all these other spirits roll in you. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore I will bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee. He going to bring forth that desire. And it shall devour thee. It's going to consume you. And I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all of them that behold thee. Verse 19. And they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Now, from what we can see, that the church, the temple, the sanctuary, the habitation is his people. Not these man-made buildings. Those buildings are only figures of the true church, which is the people, us. Let's see it. Because, like I said earlier, the Spirit of God don't dwell in no building made with hands. He dwelling in you. So let's look at Acts chapter 7. Gonna pick it up in verse 48. It says, oh, I got this right. Oh, it is 28. Sorry. Verse 48. It says, howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Matter of fact, we're going to stay in Acts, but I'm going to put it over here. Acts chapter 17, verse 24. It says, God that made the world and all the things therein, seeing that he is Lord, creator of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Watch this, even better. Neither is worshipped with men's hands, as comparing, though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath to all things. To nail this all the way down, we're going to go to Hebrews chapter 9, verse 24. It says, for Christ is not entered into holy places, separated places, made with hands. Why is it saying separated places? They separate unto Satan, not to him, which are the figures of the true. Say he ain't into none of them places. But, however, into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. So he ain't in them buildings. So we're going to take a quick look, a quick peek at what's in them buildings. We're going to go to Psalms. Psalms. Let's see. Psalms 104. We're going to pick it up at verse 26. It says, there go those ships. 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 Yeah, ships. These temples. These vessels. These buildings. There go these buildings. There is that Leviathan whom thou hast made to play therein. Leviathan. What's that? That's the serpent. Let me give me one quick second. I gotta pull that. I gotta pull that right quick. Let me show you that because I didn't put it in here and I should have put it in here. All right, here's one right here. Let me go to it. Go to Isaiah chapter 27, verse 1. I'm going to talk about this Leviathan. It says, in that day, the Spirit of God, with his sword and great strong sword, shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent. See? Even Leviathan, that crooked serpent. So right here you can see, like I just showed you, this Leviathan is that serpent. Let me get one more. Let me go find it right quick. I got one more. Let's go to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras chapter 6. It's over here. Right here. It says, thou didst ordain 2 living creatures. The one thou callest Enoch, and the other Leviathan. Because remember, Enoch pleased God. Then the other one, Leviathan. And did it separate one from the other for the 7th part, namely where the water is gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou gavest 1 part, which was dried up on the 3rd day, and that he should dwell in the same part wherein there is 1,000 hills. But Leviathan thou gavest the 7th part, namely the moist, and hast kept him to be devoured, of whom thou wilt and when. So this Leviathan, this serpent, he rolling in them buildings. He dwelling in the moist. Moist. Ain't no knowledge there. We ain't gonna harp on that. We're gonna get back on these ships. Let's go to wisdom. Wisdom of Solomon. We're gonna pick it up at chapter 14. We're gonna read down 1 through 12. It says again, one preparing himself to sail and about to pass through the raging waves, calleth on a piece of wood, more rotten than the vessel, them ships that carried him. So he called upon a piece of wood, more rotten. This idol, more rotten than this thing that carried him. This vessel, this thing made with hands. For verily, desire of gain devised that, and the workman built it by his skill. But thy providence, O Father, governeth it. For thou hast made a way in the sea and a safe path in the waves, showing that thou canst save from all danger. Yea, though a man went to sea without your beauty and perfection, nevertheless, thou wouldest not that the works of thy wisdom should be idle. And therefore do men commit their lives to a small piece of wood, and passing through the rough sea in a weak vessel are saved. For in the old time, also when the proud giants perished, the hope of the world governed thy hand, escaped in a weak vessel, and left all ages a seed of generation. For blessed is the wood whereby cometh righteousness? Nope. Watch this. It said, but that which is made with hands is cursed. as well it as he that made it. So the thing that he made is cursed, and the one who made it is cursed. Because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, was called God. Y'all, we calling these buildings, oh, this is the place of God. It's the temple of God. Oh, it ain't. He ain't in none of them buildings. We see right here, Leviathan is in there. Serpent, devil. That's who in there. Watch this. Verse 9. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful to God. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, for that reason, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation. Because in the creature of God, they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. Them buildings, that's not what's keeping you. The only thing rolling in there is Satan. That's it. He rolling in them buildings, following right after him. It's hold on 1 second. I gotta. All right. So now we need to roll over here to Ezekiel. We're gonna see these buildings. What are they? We're gonna get right into these buildings. Ezekiel 16. We're gonna pick it up at verse 24 through 26. It says, that thou hast built unto thee an eminent place, and has made thee a high place in every street. Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way, and thou hast made thy beauty to be abhorred, and hast opened thy feet to every one that passeth by, and multiplied thy whoredoms. You letting all these spirits in. You done put this building up, say, hey, oh, come on in. Come on in here. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. All these places. All of these places. He said he ain't in there. Only thing going on in there is whoredoms, fornication, adultery. That's all that's going on in there. That you done built an eminent place. You didn't build the whole house. Let's go to First Maccabees. Y'all don't think I'm. Yeah. Let me show you. Let me show you. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11 through 15. I'm telling you, watch. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, see, they was rolling with them. They said they gonna depart from them. We have had much sorrow. See, I told you that once you was rolling with Satan, you're gonna be in the groaning and tribulation. So this device pleased them well, because hey, they trying to figure it out. Said, then certain other people were so forward therein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So they giving a license to do the things that they not supposed to be doing. That don't even make no sense. Why would we want to go do that? Watch verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. This place of exercise, I'm putting it up again. This place, they exercise on all of this stuff, all the works of the heathen. You go in there for a fix. After you get your fix, you pay your money because you done got your fix, you done got your what you wanted, and you roll up out of there. That's what I said. You go in there looking for a fix. After you get your fix, you pay for your service. That's why these folks up in there, like Marvin Sapp, he say, hey, close them doors. Because he ain't been getting his money. He been, hey, I'm giving you what you've been asking for. I need to get paid. It's a whorehouse. Let's go read Isaiah. Isaiah 65. Isaiah 65, verse 3 through 4 says, a people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick, which remain among the graves. We already seen that Most High said, if you hearken unto that knowledge of good and evil, you're going to die. Which remain among the graves, in them buildings. Let me keep rolling. And lodge in monuments. Oh. Which eats swine's flesh. What is that? Unclean, uncleanness, abominable things. And watch this. And broth of abominable things is in their vessels. You learning these ways of Satan. The swine's flesh, which learn swine's flesh, unclean, unrighteous things, and the broth. We're going to stay in Isaiah. We're going to go to chapter 42. Isaiah 42, verse 22. But this people is robbed and spoiled. Robbed. Because you going there getting it fixed, they want their money, and spoiled. Steady taking you away from Christ. They are, all of them, snared in holes. And they are hid in prison houses. They trying to keep you in there. Again, Marvin said, lock them doors. Lock them up. They are for a prey, and none delivereth for a spoil. And none saith restore. He ain't trying to restore you to the Most High. He want his bag. Watch this. Isaiah. We're going to stay in Isaiah. We're going to have them all right here together. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 15 and 16. Watch this. The ancient and the honorable. The ancient and honorable. Ancient and honorable. Satan is the head. And the prophet that teacheth lies is the tail. Just showed you Leviathan was in the building. That prophet teaching them lies. We just said it. Marvin Sapp is the tail. We seen who rolling in them. Watch this. For the leaders of this people cause them to err. And they that are led of them are destroyed. The Most High ain't playing. So you go over there with that tree of knowledge, you out of there. You're going to get destroyed. Many ways. Because you got all these spirits. They give you all these spirits. That's how Satan rolls. Every kind of spirit he can put up in you, you getting it. He trying to keep you over there with him. First he was talking sweet to you. Now he pulling out all the stops. He got 666 ways to get you. Let's go to Jeremiah. I'm going to pick it up at chapter 7. Verse 4, trust ye not in lying words, saying, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. Them buildings, that ain't the temple. Them so-called leaders, y'all call y'all pastors, and y'all bishops that's in them buildings, they ain't the temple. Because who rolling in them? Satan. None of the people in there. Or because who they following? Satan. Let's go to Ephesians. We ain't got to keep going on that. I think y'all get it by now. Ephesians 4 and 14. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine. Out in them buildings, those vessels, those ships, okay, being carried to and fro with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie and wait to deceive. all that's going on in there. 2 Corinthians 11, 13 through 15. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Transforming. They doing this hypocrisy. Watch this. 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel, a messenger of light. But it's not light. Therefore, is it no great thing of his ministers also be transformed into ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Let's see what some of their works are. We can go to Matthew. Matthew chapter 23. We're going to pick it up at verse 4. It says, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, to be carried, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves would not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments. What? So now that since they done got they money up at you, since you done got your fix, they coming up with the Bentleys and the airplanes and all the little jewelry now. They looking like the dope dealers now. They dripped out. Watch this. And love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, all them gathering places, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. So, call me Bishop, I'm Bishop, it's such and such. That's what they want. These are in hypocrisy, trying to make themselves look as though they have the Spirit resting in them. They trying to say, oh, I got the Spirit of God in me. I got the Spirit of God. But they got the spirits of Satan. Let's go to Sirach right quick. Psalm Ecclesiasticus, verse, I'm going to pick up at chapter 15, verse 18 through 20. It says, for the wisdom of the Creator is great, and he is mighty in power, and beholdeth, remembereth all things. And his eyes, his understanding, are upon them that fear him. And he knoweth every work of man, every work of the males and the females, everybody. And he hath commanded no man to do wickedly, neither hath he given any man license to sin. So you seen how this whole building movement came up. What's going on in the building? Who in the building? What is actually the church? What's not the church? So as we can see, these graves, these prison houses, these ships, these eminent places, these places of exercise, these buildings of wood and stone are not the temple. They're not the church. God has not told any man to build him a physical carnal church. Everyone who has participated in doing so has sinned and helped set up stumbling blocks, snares, traps, places of deceit, and idol worship. The only thing going on in there is either you are worshiping the building itself or the man, the leader in the building, being ruled by Satan. God has given no man license, liberty to sin. He didn't do that. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to have to pick up the rest of this on the next part. And I hope that everyone was able to get some edification from the scriptures that was brought forth today. And I want to give everyone a shalom. Again, this is Brother Ned. Shalom, everyone.